Team Dignitas, off of the back of, well, their entire team, take game number 1. We'll head into game number 2 here. Team Rival with the first pick this time around. They opted for it. We'll see which direction they go. I expect to see, if not banned by Dignitas, the Giannis first selection.
Yes, agreed. I think that Giannis is the god that you really want to try and secure for your side. And look, I said I wasn't that excited about Wlfy's Thoth. He played very well on that pick. He was very, very high up on the player damage charts the majority of the game, was able to stay safe for the majority of the game. I think that he looked pretty good. I still am not giving Zyrhoes Giannis. I just don't want to do that if I'm on Rival here. No way.
Certainly not something in their thought process. Rival still don't want to give Hebo over to the jungler for Team Dignitas. Dignitas, on the other hand, banning the Athena and the Ra, which means Giannis is open, and I implore Rival to select this first overall.
And they do. They oblige.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the right pick, man. Thoth could do a lot of things. A lot of mages could do a lot of damage.
Yep.
Giannis included.
Yep.
No one else can do Giannis stuff. Like, that is exclusive to that character. I really feel like with these two teams in particular, this, along with gods like Athena, are the most popular selections between the two. Those ones that can do something that the rest of their role just cannot.
With that said, Team Dignitas certainly understand that Giannis is going to go first overall, so I'm very curious to see what sort of plan they have to go against it. Right now, the Circuit and the Rom makes sense. Circuit dot damage, able to taunt Giannis away from his portal. If he does go through it, can still have the dots. Rom goes to the sky and take care of players. Also, it's just what Arkkyl played last game and destroyed with, so why not? Merc and Hachiman, though, going to be the selections for Rival.
Interesting that Dignitas doesn't go for Xbalanque, because they were really in on that pick for Arkkyl for a while. It's open. It got banned in the second ban phase last game. I really feel like X-Ball is I don't know why we're not seeing it quite as much as we used to.
I think part of that is the ability for Rom to ult stragglers going through the Giannis portal.
Sure.
I think that really is. Game number 1 was just because Xbalanque was banned. Game number 2 is either or, because Xbalanque probably has a little bit of an edge in the player department, the player damage department right now, but I think Rom's certainly up there when it comes to late game.
When do you think the last time Dignitas didn't prioritize Zero's top 3 was? Feels like it's been a while. They have historically almost always prioritized Zyrhoes
since before they were Dignitas.
Yeah,
they were Variety's new team.
It's like a handful of drafts where they don't pick Zyrhoes in the top 3. Now Rival get an opportunity to ban away some of his gods, but they only decide to go for 1 in the Thoth, and I think this is fine. Ban away the Terra, make sure that doesn't go to Dignitas. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. But you had an opportunity to really put Zyrhoes in the hole in the god pool. You could have banned this Discordia. I think Raijin is probably who he would have gone to after that.
Sure.
But you can kind of force Zyrhoes in the pick you want him to play if they wait this long. But just by going for only no mage bans that were targeted at Zyrhoes in the first phase, Dignitas has the option to just wait it out a little bit and pick his Discordia in the second half.
Khepri, the last choice for Team Rival. Very interesting. Haven't seen too much of Khepri as of late, but I think the Hugbug certainly is a very powerful choice. Team Dignitas already have a jungler, and so it'll be Kumba Karna being selected here. Kumba going to cut down a lot of the basic attack prowess coming out from Hachi and Mercury. Really interested to see that. And also just playing control.
He also just can CC Khepri very, very easily when he's looking for those Scarab's Blessing ultimates to save a teammate. That being said, I love this Khepri selection. There's a lot of guaranteed damage over time on the side of Dignitas. Lurking in the Waters, Circuit ultimate, Discordia ultimate. These are things where you can very predictive burst or just damage over time in general when it comes to last breath. So Khepri, those are the opportunities where Khepri gets to make those saves very, very easily. I think that pairs beautifully with Mercury because it does give him movement speed still. That translates to power. It doesn't give power anymore, but in this case it kind of does. I love Rival's comp here.
I can't disagree with you. Rival over here, they've got a mid to late game composition that's going to destroy you if you're allowed to go that late. And Dignitas are looking to go that late. They have a late game composition in the Discordia, the Rom, and the Circuit. A lot of things going on here. I think Rival has the draft. Maybe they can take the game and give us some super smite. Let's get right into game number 2.
You know what, Ryan? You sold me. You know, I wasn't feeling the Khepri initially, but I liked his pitch.
Honestly,
I'm feeling it.
I was scared after the Khepri pick because there still wasn't the last selection for Dignitas. That Sobek was a flex pick between solo and support. pretty sure Achilles was still open looking at my picks and bans. And not only that, Variety's been known to play Thanatos in the solo lane back in Season 3 a lot, even a little bit of Season 4. So the fact that they didn't get an Execute God just to deal with Scarab's Blessing, gotta scratch my head on that one.
Well, who do you think is going to win this game? Game 2 is coming up here. We just saw Dignitas look great in Game 1. So you still on side Team Rival, or you lean a little bit more towards Dignitas? What about you here, Totally? You got an early favorite at all?
I like Rivals Draft a lot better than the first game.
Yes.
I think that this is more of their identity. But I think that QvoFred was hot on the Hunbats last game, and I think it's going to carry over to the Circuit in Game 2.
Well, let's see if that can happen for them, for QvoFred on this Circuit. Meanwhile, Team Rival has a lot of just some of the strongest gods you could ask for right now. With Shibalanki not available, Hachiman, certainly very strong in the Hunter role. Guan Yu, largely considered one of the strong gods in the game right now. Mercury quickly on the rise. He does everything quickly, including, you know, rise up to the top of the best gods in the game.
Just kind of stretching before going into combat. Very important to stretch. You don't want to pull something.
Especially if you're going to do like Kung Fu or martial arts, whatever he's about to do.
Yeah, you got to make sure you get nice and limber for that one. As the plan for iceicebaby is to keep everybody on their toes with some of these global pressure gods. It's this time Rival with a global presence. Last time Dignitas with the Athena, Giannis, semi-global presence from the Ram. Here at Game 2, it's Rival with a Mercury Giannis for themselves.
Yeah, even more than I like Rival having these picks, I like Team Dignitas not having them. Like if you're rooting for Rival, right? Banning away the Athena and then grabbing the Giannis for yourself. Yes, you know, Wlfy's great on it, but also so is Zyrhoes, as Ice makes an early rotation over to the duo lane to try and cause some problems with Trixtank, who is just kind of running away. There's really nowhere for him to go. Wlfy right there with the portal to clean this one up and then give the kill to whoever they want. It goes to Kalis.
No,
and he takes it.
What are you doing, Kalis? You gotta give that to your jungler, or maybe even Wlfy. He's definitely kicking himself after that one.
That's a little surprising. That's one of the things that can be a small weakness to Kumakarna. It's really easy to decide who gets that passive, especially in a situation like that, where there's no pressure. You can just kind of do it at your leisure. So it's very, they must have wanted Kalis to have that, because it's so easy to give that to the right person.
Maybe that's the case. Who knows? Maybe trying to finish off Gauntlet of Thebes
Sure.
to be able to stack that up, get that ore online. It's not the end of the world. You could still take advantage of it. But you gotta be wondering, what would iceicebaby be able to do with that extra gold bounty instead?
Maybe, you know what? After the game, Kalis had Game 1. There's probably some value to having a 1 at the top of that slash line. You know, just to make sure my boy's head's right. We all know Kalis is sick. He's been playing insanely well since Super Regionals and this whole split. So get my man in the right headspace coming into this game.
Trying to make something happen in the solo lane is Varieties looking for the pluck, but Deathwalker just narrowly avoiding it. It's a lot of mind games in this matchup where the Tallow Assault can be interrupted by the pluck, so you kind of have to wiggle yourself in between all of your minions to intercept it.
Make sure that you don't doing all that damage. Variety's done good damage here to Deathwalker early on, but no real kill potential, not just yet. And we saw how strong the Guan Yu can be once it gets its legs underneath it. So Variety, if you can keep this pressure up, certainly could be strong. I mean, Deathwalker does have the meditation as opposed to the teleport too, so even though he can sustain in lane, if you can send him back, you can punish.
And honestly, Rival did a great strategy to open up the doors, going from speed buff immediately to red, anticipating that their own dual lane would fall behind in the first wave clear department, and that Dignitas would attempt that purple buff invade. So iceicebaby just at the right place at the right time. He's going to be able to try to get to level 5 first if he can find some more pressure in that dual lane farm.
Vote getting potentially caught out. The slow has landed from Arkyl's Astral Arrows. Trixtank continuing to box now with him. Looks like Vote doesn't have the EI Jutsu, so he's just stuck inside the damage. Arkkyl gets the kill. He must have used it while we weren't looking, but now Kalis and Ice are here to try and even the score. Trixtank might fall again, but he has Blink.
Can we take a look at what Arkkyl is maxing out here, just to make sure, because he did not... Oh, I'm sorry, for Vote. Yeah, I want to see... Because I didn't really see him use it. He must have used it offensively and then got punished for it immediately after.
And either way, a good punish there by Dignitas, especially because they don't end up losing a life. That looked like a guaranteed kill in the Trixtank, but very calmly use that blink to get out of dodge. That's even worse, really. That Vote fell without that blink even being necessary. It was just an easy kill for Trixtank and Arkkyl to grab and still have tools left to escape.
And it's going to give him that advantage he needs to finish Devo Gloves first. Arkkyl probably going to rush it yet again the same way he did in game number 1. And the unfortunate death of Vote timing-wise forces him back to base with 900 gold, where he picks up Warrior Tab by 2 instead of coming back for the Devo Glove Tier 2 version, just because he doesn't want to miss out on any potential further golden experience.
Just had to do what was the most effective thing gold-wise with that back timing, and going with the Tier 2 boots certainly is pretty strong. The extra movement speed not going to hurt at all for Vote, as Deathwalker's going in aggressive, does go in for the stun, but QvoFred immunes it, and Zyrhoes deletes iceicebaby. I believe he was there a moment ago, but is no longer.
Deathwalker was just a quarter second too late. Maybe if he charged his cavalry charge a little bit earlier to anticipate that pathing and stun QvoFred a quarter second earlier, still would have the life from iceicebaby. The steal coming through from QvoFred. Did have to invest into the beads. Doesn't have to worry about through space and time on this chase.
Very greedy here from QvoFred. Looks like he's going to be able to get away with it, at least for now. Ice does not have the Sonic Boom, the best way to punish. Variety has to pluck to get away. Ice still looking for more, but I think they've closed enough distance.
I mean, they know, Rival knows that Dignitas' speed buff is still available, and that was some calculated aggression from QvoFred. With the death from iceicebaby, with the Wlfy ultimate expended, trying to save the life of iceicebaby, also Deathwalker's ultimate, that at most, they would have to worry about maybe an unstable vortex and a portal, which was well-timed between using the purification beads, not taking additional damage that he needed to.
Red buff being secured by Team Rival. They're actually coming up aggressively to try and strip this away from Chaos side. So Trixtank comes in with the epic uppercut. Doesn't land on the Ice, lands on the Collis, who gets striped and then gets abducted. Collis does have the two-man Sonic Boom coming through, but Arkkyl has the beads. Now Vote's here, and that's enough with the horse right into the Eye Jutsu to find the kill. Puts down Arkkyl. QvoFred wants a little bit more into QvoFred. Death Bane means that he has the Scarabs blessing himself, but they're right there to punish when he comes back out.
Oh, the bleeding is being initiated, and iceicebaby falls as well again. It's a 2-for-1. Red buff was stripped, as was Arkkyl's life, but Rival are on the lesser end of it yet again.
And they're still chasing Vote. The unstable vortex, though, is huge. I can't believe Dignitas is still going in aggressive, but QvoFred finds it through space and time to the back. Means it is going to be a 1-for-1. Dignitas, man, these guys are nuts. Even with their health pool so low, they're still going in.
Ah, man, after all of that, with iceicebaby respawning as his Arkkyl, it was a 2-for-2 at the end of the day, but Rival coming out on top with the red buff. Wlfy making a clutch play with the portal, with the through space and time. And a lot of those ultimates, big mage ultimates, are a lot harder to do when you're closer and people are trying to juke right in front of you, as opposed to when they're not really looking at you, you're trying to aim your ultimate through a wall and just time it correctly. So a lot of props to Wlfy making those two plays happen.
Yeah, it can feel a little bit narrow, like right when you're using it. I know like Amir can have that problem when he's trying to freeze and you're like right next to him. You can kind of just like sidestep. So sometimes, depending on the ability, being closer can actually be a bit of a detriment depending on just how close they are. So already we're seeing good plays coming out from Wlfy here on that Giannis. Low on mana, though, so might have to consider, and it is, making that back, so he'll be getting that sustained right back up. But Team Rival grab the red buff invade and keep this game very close.
I mean, can we just talk about the kill count already? 3-5 in game number 2, whereas in game number 1,
that's right,
it was 2-1 up until that 23-minute mark between these two teams. After kind of feeling each other out in that first game, identifying how to exploit the other, where's the weaknesses. It was iceicebaby that exploited the dueling weakness at level 1, anticipating that purple buff invade, but now Dignitas getting the better end with it, whereas there's a lot of solo lane ganks onto iceicebaby through QvoFred's last breath.
Variety's done a really good job of bullying Deathwalker here in the solo lane. I mean, totally, you're my solo lane expert. Talk to you a little bit more about this matchup. I mean, should Sobek be out in front of Guan Yu this early?
A little bit, actually. Guan Yu suffers until he maxes out the sustain a little bit further, until he gets the Genji's guard completed, whereas Sobek, Shoes of Focus is going to heavily outweigh the Warrior Tab. But also Deathwalker not going for a Warrior Tab, like going for those reinforced Greaves, wanting to make sure that if there's any gank from QvoFred, that he'll get some additional protections from any other damage sources.
Collis taking some curious positioning in the jungle. Could be into some trouble as Trixtank and Zyrhoes are right here with him. But Collis, undeterred, he's continuing to move forward aggressive. He has no backup unless you want to count Ice and Wlfy, who he blinks in on, does Trixtank and gets beads out of both of them, it looks like. Collis now rooted in place portal. not going to be able to pull. That is Wlfy's portal, and Kalis going to be to fall right back.
Kalis not able to connect that abduct. Great timing of the delayed beads from iceicebaby. It was a very early preemptive beads from Wlfy, and he got under the safety of his own tier 1 tower. So the only left remaining target was the Mercury, but iceicebaby doing a good job respecting the epic uppercut. This is what makes Kumakarna such a scary pick. The fact that he just gets in there with the mez, and then he has all the time in the world to see who he wants to go on.
Now, QvoFred doesn't hit the Cobra's Kiss, so Ice does escape. And to go back to that play, it cost Trixtank his blink, yes, to go in for that blink mess, but it means now there'll be easier targets as the ultimate has to come out from Deathwalker, and he lands the stun. QvoFred walks right back into the ultimate from Wlfy, gets blindsided and taken down. Now the rotation's coming in for iceicebaby. They're completely turning this gank on its head. Kalis gets a kill, 2 for 0. Team Rival have turned this around.
Oh, and the dueling, the votes in a 1v1. Arkkyl winning that one.
That's good. They really needed something on the map to go their way after that play over in the solo side. So Arkkyl finding the solo kills, no problem there. But what a play from Deathwalker, using the ultimate, stunning QvoFred inside the tower line, Towel of Assault, and then a perfectly lined up through space and time from Wlfy. Wlfy, what is it, 50% luck and 100% skill? I don't know what it was, but that went perfectly.
I mean, there's no luck, honestly, in Smite. It's all about how the opportunity meets the preparation, and Wlfy definitely prepared for that one, as did Deathwalker, trying to make it happen. Back onto iceicebaby, the dash getting intercepted, but a beautiful Scarab's blessing from Kalis, saving his jungler's life.
Gets iceicebaby out of trouble, and this is where the Khepri really can be strongest, when it permits someone like particularly the Mercury to dive deep and still have an escape route. You can get a kill and potentially escape out, or like that, be looking around the jungle, see if there's farm, and have a way back out. Kalis already 2-1-1, looking way better than game 1.
Despite that early first blood, which he took away from iceicebaby, he's making good use of it thus far. He has the sovereignty completed before Trixtank has even completed his Gauntlet of Thebes for the stacking department. And this is a good power window if Rival wanted to start grouping up as a 5-man unit, maybe 4, depending on which side laner they want to leave alone, and look for that aura advantage.
And you talked about how, to go back to the solo lane here for a minute, because I've been kind of wondering who had Discordia's passive, about how Variety or Sobek should be ahead anyway. Don't forget he does have that passive. He has extra power helping him out in that trade too, so that could be part of why we've been able to see him do a little bit of bullying onto Deathwalker up until now. That's why that gank was so important to try, or the response to the gank was so important to help Deathwalker even that back out in solo.
I mean, the thing is, Shoes of Focus getting these recent changes from 40 magical power to also 55 and 5.9 is a good idea to start using some more Guardians in the solo lane. You're already getting that item anyway for the 10% cooldown reduction, so now you're getting an extra 15 power on your basic attacks, an extra 15 power on some of your abilities. And if Variety doesn't get his blue buff denied, he's going to have so much freedom in terms of looking for the bullying. The Sickening Strike not only does damage, but also applies a little bit of anti-healing. And Guan Yu is not one to thrive in the early stages with a sustain before he gets any cooldown reduction or MP5 from the Genji's Guard.
Now he does have that helping him along with the meditation, so it should be a little bit easier for him in lane as we kind of slow down just a little bit here again. 12.5 minutes in. Things are still very, very even, at least gold-wise, between these two squads. One place where things are not even, though. Arkkyl having a good game here up against Vo. We saw him get that solo kill earlier coming down from the snipes. He's been playing this ROM real well.
And the thing was, the ultimate advantage of being able to stay in the sky for as long as he possibly can allowed Arkkyl to avoid all the minions out of Vote. They were all still alive, whereas the rest of the minions from Arkkyl died to Vote's hand, and that should have been a 7-on-1, but Arkkyl rather, just eliminating that process, waiting it out to the very last second, timing all 3 snipes. A true elite hunter.
And he is trying to box early too, going for Iqbal, as opposed to Vote, who looks like is going right into the Executioner third item. That sort of bridge from Arkkyl is going to give him an earlier power spike and definitely make him a potent boxer. Vote has to be careful not to take these boxing matches too willy-nilly.
And the thing is, between the 2 hunters in the last game, it wasn't until the 16-minute mark where it was Arkkyl who caught Rival slipping a little bit by soloing that Gold Fury.
That's
but
right.
This time around, there's plenty of vision all across the left side of the map, and I don't expect Rival to let this one go with how close this game really is.
No, they've done a great job making adjustments here in game 2, Totally, and I imagine that'll be part of those adjustments they're going to make, is to be a little bit mindful around these objectives as Variety continues to pressure out this tier 1 tower. And already we do see a lot more vision placed around it, as you noted. So rivals certainly are going to be aware, and they have a better case at pulling it themselves, really, if they want to go over there. I mean, Vote and Ice certainly have some damage they could apply to that Wlfy pretty quickly.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's going to be Deathwalker making a bigger impact in some of these team fights than Variety as the game progresses. As long as he gets the cooldown reduction, which looks to be the case as he starts up the Silver Breastplate. Probably going to go for a Breastplate of Valor, considering he's lacking that huge boost of physical defense. He already has a lot magical defense with the Genji's guard, so he's looking to keep him a little bit more balanced.
Yeah, those plucks from Variety are going to be big. The tail whip is good, like disruption and peel, but it's not quite on the same level what Deathwalker is going to be able to do. I mean, you can't really interrupt him off the cavalry charge, really, unless you've got like a cage or a tectonic shift. The healing is so constant, and it's always up. And he has the slow he can apply too. I mean, Deathwalker probably going to be doing more than Variety, as you said, once these fights get there later, and that's pretty impressive, because Sobek does a lot for you in team fights.
That's very true. And Variety wants to make it even better by going for the Blink at level 12. He has the 20% cooldown reduction from Breastplate, totaling 30%, and Variety's going to be looking for that every single time. Now, like what Deathwalker did by sacrificing his tier 1 tower to ensure getting his own blue buff. 500 gold at 15 minutes is almost negligible considering how close and evenly matched these two teams are. Trixtank, though, looking for a Blink play.
He did go in and find the mess. Through space and time comes out from Wlfy, perhaps too prematurely. I think he was expecting an all-in commit, and Dignitas do a great job baiting.
Needed to aim it a little bit more to the right to either clip out Zyrhoes or at least make more portals to help Callus cut the distance on that left side mid-Harpy wall. He wasn't really in position to find the root or the abduct, so Callus just bailed after that one.
No real way for them moving any further, but still a bit of a win for Dignitas. Now, Wlfy does have Chronos Pen, and that's a lot of cooldown in one item, so through space and time will be back up before you know it, but Dignitas have a small window.
Trying to make something happen potentially. They're still grouped up as 3 on the left side as Variety has made his rotation. So has Deathwalker, however. Wlfy being pulled out by Vote, but still being leashed. It's Callus trying to lead the charge and seeing if he can root and abduct anyone.
Wlfy, though, is being at least looked at by Vote. Variety going to be the front line for him. They got plenty of damage waiting in the wings, but this time they don't have the Athena taunt.
Look at that strife, so good. Callus finds an abduct onto Variety after he misses the pluck, and Variety could be in a little bit of trouble as the through space and time connects.
And they're going to go all in on this. Deathwalker happy to come in and clean up that kill. Wlfy finds that first hit. Sonic Boom comes to the fight, forces beads from Arkkyl, but he rolls in aggressively. Deathwalker's low, but Scarab's Blessing's right there. Wlfy finds QvoFred. Team Rivals so far are winning this fight front to back. Now Arkkyl drops back down for iceicebaby, who's looking for revenge. He does roll out, but Wlfy takes down Zyrhoes on the left-hand side. They get 3 for 0, and Rival showing up to play here in Game 2.
Getting a Wlfy for themselves just for added effect. This is the Rival that we're expecting to see after they won that Spring Masters land. Where was this Rival in game number 1? Callus looking for the root, not going to connect. The rest of Rival shifting their attention to the right side of the map. I don't think this is a Pyromancer, Finch.
I don't either. They are moving with purpose, Totally. I think they're going to come right for this Fire Giant, or at least bait it. Trixtank gets plucked back in. Cavalry charge is here. Trixtank has the passive proc, and I think Arkkyl is going to be a whole lot of trouble as well. The slow comes out, and Vote's there with the shot. Arkkyl falls to Wlfy on the other side. Now, Variety has returned. Zyrhoes just respawn. QvoFred is on the path, but they're just going to grab him one by one. Variety now gets abducted back in. Ice comes through space and time, clips him in the back, and another kill. They're going to come in one by one, then Rival's going to kill him one by one.
All right, this has been guaranteed a Giannis MVP performance from Wlfy. If it's in Dignitas' hands or Rival, they are really making this god shine. This QvoFred gets rooted into place, taking a whole bunch of damage.
QvoFred does end up falling. Callus is the one that gets that kill credit. Now they return back towards the Fire Giant. Zyrhoes has been zoned away. Callus is here and healthy. This is Team Rivals FG. This is Team Rivals Fight. It feels like Team Rivals game all of a sudden. Now they're the ones up 5,000 gold, and adding a Pyromancer to their list of accomplishments. 6,200 experience. A nice sharp spike up for the Reapers.
It was all a bait initially. They killed Trixtank and Arkkyl after the first initial Fire Giant pull. And then what happens after? Variety teleports in. He walks into too many black and purple jerseys. He gets eliminated. QvoFred sacrifices his life, and it's all been in vain. 4 Dig members losing their life for nothing. Probably should have given that up at the end of the day, but still, with this kind of advantage, Rival Fire Giant around their waist for 3 minutes or so. It's going to be able to start extending this lead that they have, which is already above 6,000. There's about all 6 towers remaining, actually, so 6,000 gold on the board waiting for Rival.
Yeah, I don't want to make it sound like this is too much of a surprise. Rival can certainly play at this level. And you talked about, Totally, there's tons of gold on the map here for them. I mean, every tower is still there, and they're going to be able to go pretty easily grab those. Unless Dignitas want to try and defend on a tier 2, is this the kind of situation where Dignitas should be trying to defend on tier 2?
It could if they're looking for the split push onto QvoFred to commit onto a Phoenix. They need to buy as much time to prevent Rival from backing to their base. Wlfy needs to make sure that he's the one that goes back to defend the Phoenix. If QvoFred does decide, because of all that global pressure, Wlfy's not going to really miss out on much.
They do grab the tier 2 tower on the left-hand side. Coming back now towards the tier 1 tower. And QvoFred is going to stick around and wait for this next mini wave and continue to pressure this tier 2 until Rival send back someone to answer him. And at this point, it's basically fine. They have a bunch of tier 1 towers to clear out anyway. The rest of Dignitas are there to try and defend. Now QvoFred is going to back and join up as Team Rival move into the tier 1 tower. Deathwalker going to be that frontliner for them. Tower is already being shredded. Dignitas can't defend.
They can't defend without QvoFred being there. He just took a little bit too long to get the tower because his minions weren't quite there. He had to proxy between the tier 2 tower and the Phoenix while he was waiting for that to occur to eliminate some of those backdoor protections. And Rival now up about 9,000 gold. Would have been more, but Dignitas able to do a good job split pushing that right side of the map.
And that's about all that they could have hoped. They would have gotten no towers, really, so at least they were able to grab some there from QvoFred's efforts. It does mean, though, they give up the tier 1 and tier 2 in both mid and in duo. Now to try and recoup those losses, that's really where the big problems come in for Dignitas. Not even that they lost the Fire Giants, that Fire Giant meant that Team Rival can kind of go to the ATM, that is those other towers that are up on the map, and extend that gold lead out even further. Dignitas, though, are going to come down and grab the tier 1 tower in duo, add a little more global gold to the pockets, and still try and mitigate the loss. They're actually grouping. Are they going to push?
But look at this counter bait coming out of Wlfy. Unstable Vortex takes out his life, even aegising out some more damage.
Good body
but
block.
The body blocks from QvoFred. No one from Rival were really there to save him.
But that kill onto Wlfy was supposed to happen. He was not supposed to turn around and delete Variety. QvoFred almost certainly dead to right here as iceicebaby makes him look the wrong direction. He ends up falling. They are going to continue to push over in the solo side as well, or Team Rival, and grab that tier 2. Now only Phoenix is in the Titan standing for Team Dignitas.
Not too many minions on the left side for Rival, so they have to focus on the middle and the right. But it's a 2-on-3 favoring Dignitas on the Phoenix defense.
Root is going to land. Deathwalker going to take a bunch of extra shots from Arkkyl and from the Phoenix. That's going to force him to use the cavalry charge to retreat, but Ice all alone in the mid lane going to push this Phoenix. Trixtank is on the way to push him back, and Zyrhoes is here too.
I'm surprised he didn't go a little bit deeper past those archers and just smack it down, but that's why he was aiming down the right side of the map. iceicebaby zoning Arkkyl away. iceicebaby is actually going to get pulled back in. The girdle being popped by Callus as the Phoenix still very low, but Rival not able to seal the deal.
That Sonic Boom did hit Arkkyl, but he had the beads. He was able to fall back and regroup, and now he can come in and help for the defense. Phoenix at half HP, but Team Rival.
Ooh, that through space and time, just narrowly splitting the uprights, almost connecting onto Zyrhoes there, and that Phoenix so terribly low, but without Wlfy being there as he had to respawn to base, it was QvoFred respawning very quickly along with Variety for the hot defense.
And they don't have Fire Giant buff anymore, Totally. That fell off about 30 seconds ago. I think that's why we see Rival sort of rethinking whether or not they want to keep up with this push, and they are indeed going to fall back. Team Dignitas now have a chance to regroup and breathe. They're down about 10,000 gold, but if they can stall out a little bit longer, they can certainly regroup. They've got Discordia, they've got Rom late game. There's certainly some strong gods.
Definitely able to at least hold for the moment. This is the point in the time of last game when the game blew wide open for Dignitas, but Rival already in commanding lead. They're not going to build it up even further. They are commanding it now. They're looking to end with this Fire Giant. Their second one, not the enhanced one, because it needs to respawn after the 25-minute mark.
I like this use of through space and time to catch up to Zyrhoes. The root is going to land. Vode finds the shot. Team Rival have no reason to hesitate. Team Dignitas are too spread across the map, and Rival can take the Phoenix on the right-hand side. They're being healed up by Deathwalker. Arkkyl can't find a way in. Phoenix is down already, and Team Rival have made this base just that much easier to break.
Rival got the mobility and the sustain that they need to handle these kinds of siege attempts. Unfortunately for Zyrhoes, he was caught in no man's land. He didn't really anticipate that through space and time play out a Wlfy. And with that one pick, that's all they really needed, about that 45+ second window to get that right side Phoenix. Rival looking like a completely different team in game number 2.
Looking so much better, and I gotta think part of it is Collis on this Khepri, but I mean, I think you can't overstate how important Giannis is right now, man. This god is so strong. These portals have enabled them to make big rotations. They have turned these team fights around for them, and it's really made a big difference. I think Wlfy and Collis looking so much better here in this game have been so different.
I like the fact that you point out those two players because it just screams out utility, the way they've been playing these gods. You got Wlfy for the transportation hub with the portals. You got Callus for the damage reduction. Even if there's anti-healing from Team Dignitas, which there's not, by the way, at least in the item category, they only really have that Sickening Strike in the last breath. You still got the damage reduction from Callus. So Deathwalker is still going to be able to do things. Callus still going to be able to do things. Even if the damage isn't really there, they're going to make these team fights last forever.
And by itself, Abduct is better control than they had from Collis in the Hercules last game. The play that they did where they repeatedly let them walk into the Fire Giant pit and then they pulled them into their death, that kind of was centered around the Abduct from Collis. Everyone kind of got pulled in, and then the damage rained in on them. I don't know if they can make that same play with Hercules unless they land that driving strike combo every time, and as we saw, it's just not the easiest one to land as your most reliable CC.
Well, hey, if you give a Hercules a portal like that for Deathwalker, he might be able to connect a four-man Mez from Trix.
Well, Trixtank is in a little bit of trouble. Through space and time comes out, but QvoFred has got to leave. He took a lot of damage. Deathwalker gets thrown back to the wolves. Vote, though, takes out Variety. Two-man Sonic Boom brings Arkkyl and Trixtank down. Ice-Ice-Baby puts the hand to QvoFred. It's a 5v2. Phoenix on left-hand side is going to be the target as Collis lands the root on the Zyrhoes, who jumps to avoid it. Wlfy and the rest of the squad move up, but they're leaving Vote back to destroy the Phoenix.
Second Phoenix goes down. Rival able to control this one. Some fire minions trickling down the Titan room. Arkkyl having to deal with that one. Wlfy leading the charge as a Giannis player looking for the damage. Rival, they're going to commit to this Titan siege.
Dropping the girdle. They're ready to move in. Arkkyl has to jump back after using Egg as Trixtank is trying to use the epic uppercut, but iceicebaby comes right back down, and he's happy to punch. Titan now below 10% HP, and Team Rival have evened up the series. We're going to a game 3.
Impressive performance from Rival, able to sweep game number 1 performance under the rug.
Forgot about it.
Dominating game number 2, and mostly comes down to the picks and bans. Like, so. Yes, they did strip away the Giannis from Zyrhoes, but it just worked so well for them. It wasn't just making sure that it wasn't in Zyrhoes' hands. They made sure that this pick was going to do something for Rival. They were able to ping-pong between some of these side lanes. I think the key moment of the game for Rival was when Deathwalker survived that tier 1 tower gank, being able to go back into QvoFred with his own cavalry, or with the Talu Assault rather, finish him off. That through space and time from Wlfy, making the counter rotation, pinpoint accuracy.
And it was a great play, but then, you know, he walks back into the through space and time and gets blown up. I mean, great play. I don't.
It was good. It was a solid performance from Rival. They made that pick work. They made the Guan Yu pick work very well once the Guan Yu started transitioning to some of these Gold Fury fights. And also Callus looked lights out on this Khepri than compared to the Hercules in game 1.
Well, who was your MVP there from game 2? I gave some of my early contenders. Wlfy and Callus both looked way better here in this game, but I think we'd be remiss to not mention how well Ice played on Mercury as well.
That last Phoenix siege, yeah, he dove in confidently. That guy was just like a Hercules hero. Like the Mercury.
On the Mercury, though. Yeah. We'll get it back over to our 2 analysts on the desk and hear their thoughts.
Thanks a lot, friends. Tom and Ryan here one more time to break down game number 2. When it comes down to it, I just saw another player on the field for Rival. I think that the Hercules was just not there. But this time around on the Khepri, big boy plays. 3-1 and 9 there for the Khepri player, surrounded by fantastic performances pretty much by the entire team.
Collis played great, man. I mean, I still think it really does come down to Giannis for me. 7-1 for Wlfy. Just whoever seems to have this Giannis pick just seems to dictate the pace of the match so much better than the other team. And it's so easy to cascade fights into your favor, right? You get one pick, and then you can easily, through space and time, chase everyone else out that you did damage to, but that barely got away. We saw that a couple times. The big fight around Gold Fury, then Rival's able to transition over towards Pyromancer. It was like how Dignitas was using the Athena in game 1, but with the Khepri instead of trying to get the backliners with Athena taunt, instead it was just a Khepri abduct variety. Khepri abduct this guy, Kumbhakarna, like whoever, and you just got so much CC. And we actually saw at that point that Kalas had been leveling his 1 and his 3. It only put 1 point into Rising Dawn, which is something we've never really seen before as a Khepri player, because you get more duration on the grab time when you level abduct. You get more duration on the root time with Solar Flare, but you get so much damage reduction from Rising Dawn and so much damage on the wave. It helps your clear so much that everyone's just like, yeah, of course you got to max the 2. Kala says he doesn't need it. It ends up working out beautifully there. The combination of the long roots and the long pulls were huge.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to wind up with the MVP, and there's no doubt in my mind that he deserves it. And again, the attention to just the control, right? I mean, this is one of those things where you can forego sort of the damage reduction, because you don't get that damage reduction with any other character, right?
Right.
So you're already used to playing without it. Go into the extra control. Certainly worked out. His teammates vote, and everybody else did fantastic.
Yeah, they
and
did.
Wlfy 7-1-7 on the mid lane. Can't forget about Giannis. Game 3.